is Pollyanna of Lightspeed Sports Recovery. So we're doing intermediate session, but we're going to start from a standing position. So for this, if you want to make it slightly harder, you can put a pillow or a foam block underneath your foot, and that will make the exercises that much harder. I'm currently on a more uneven surface, so that also will make it harder, or if you're on a thick carpet or anything like that, that again will make it harder. The easiest way to do it is on a hard, level surface. So from here, you're going to stand on one leg, you're going to bend that supporting knee, and then just focus on something on the ground, and from there, you're just going to take your leg out to side and bring it back in. So it's just out to side and back in. Keeping yourself nicely drawn in through the transabs and pelvic floor, so that's your core muscles. Standing up nice and tall, so you've got that piece of rope pulling you up to the ceiling. And just taking that leg out. You can do whatever you want with your toes, you can point them if you want to, you can pull them up. It's really up to you on that one. And just keep going with this, just making sure that that leg that you're standing on, the knee slightly soft, as this just helps with your balance. Okay, from there you're going to take that foot in behind your knee, you're going to bring the knee into the centre, making sure you keep the hips forward. You're going to bring that knee out and then bringing it back in. So knee out and then back in. And just keep going with this. You can have your hands on your hips if you want to, just to put them somewhere. Keep focusing on something on the floor to help your balance. Keeping the hips facing forwards. We don't want to be rolling out with it. You want to face forward. Okay, couple more. Okay, from there, this is a much harder exercise. So you're going to bring that knee up, and then you're going to take that leg out, and your body comes forward. And then bring it back. So you're trying to do this without actually touching the floor with that foot. So keep that going. Keep that softness in the supporting knee. Okay, let's go for 5 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, still keeping that leg up. You're going to go into some small circles. Just keeping them nice and small. Again, keeping that balance, soften that knee. Keep that going. And then reverse the direction. You should start feeling it in this supporting leg. Okay, and relaxing down. Just shake the leg that you've been standing on. Okay, this time we're just going to swap sides. So you're going to bend that supporting knee. You're going to go into those side raises. So again, keeping that knee nicely soft just helps with your balance. You're just taking that leg out to the side and back in. So the exercise is great because it's working everything through from the ankle, knee, all the way to the glutes. So you're stabilizing through that hip. And just helping with proprioception. So if you've had any ankle injuries or anything like that, or knee, they're really, really good for this sort of injury. Okay, from there you're going to hook that foot in behind the knee. Keep the hips facing forward, bring that knee into the center, and then take that knee out. And again, just keeping that softness in that knee, looking down at the ground, so spot something on the ground, and that should help. Keep it going. You might start to feel it already. Okay, from there, bring that knee up in front and then taking that leg out behind, bringing it up and then out behind. You'll probably find you also have one leg better than the other that you find that's easier to balance on. Okay, 5 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, from there into your small circles. So just hovering that foot above, making those small circles, trying not to put that foot on the floor. And reverse the direction. Keep that going. Probably starting to feel it. Okay, and relaxing back down, shaking that leg off. So you should feel it through this sort of area. That sort of area has been worked, which is really, really good. From here, you're going to come towards the end of your mat, and we're going to go into something called a roll down. So this is a really good loosening up, mobilizing exercise through the back. What you want to do is stand up nice and tall, really draw in through those trans abs and pelvic floor. You're going to take the chin towards the chest. You're going to tuck the ribs in. So you're sort of hunching that back down. You're going to peel each segment of your back down. So you're peeling it off a wall. You're just going to let the arms and head hang. Go as far down as you can. You're going to breathe in, exhale, and then you're going to come back up. So you're going to tuck that tailbone in first. You're then going to stack the pelvis, rib cage, shoulders, and finally the head. Breathe in, exhale, and then work your way back down again. So as I said, this is a really good exercise to loosen up through that back, to stretch down through those legs. And you'll probably find as you do more of them, you'll be able to get further with each one. Just make sure you let the head and neck hang nice and loose. Then you're going to breathe in, exhale, and you're going to come back up. So tucking that tailbone in first, stacking the pelvis, ribs, shoulders, and finally the head. Breathe in, exhale, and then rolling back down. This is a nice, relaxing exercise, so it's quite good to include in a warm-up. And breathing in at the bottom, exhale, and then working your way back up again. Breathe in, exhale, and working your way back down. Breathe in, exhale, and then coming back up again. Let's do another 2, so breathing in, exhale, rolling all the way down. Breathe in, exhale, and then working our way back up again. Okay, 1 more. So breathe in, exhale, rolling all the way down, letting those arms and head hang. Breathe in, exhale, and then working your way back up again. So tucking that tailbone in, stacking that pelvis, ribs, shoulders, and finally the head. Okay, so we're going to do a sort of press up challenge as well. So this is really good to help with your upper body strength and just give yourself a little bit more of a challenge during the session. So for this, what I want you to do is you want to bend down, touch your toes if you can. If not, you can bend your knees, and then you're just going to walk it forward. And then from here, you've got the choice. So you can either do a full press up, or it's perfectly all right to drop your knees down. So from here, you're going to go down as low as you can, and then back up. If you're going to do full ones, up to here, keeping that nice straight line between the hip, shoulder, and ankles. And you're going to go down and back up. So let's see if we can do 10. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, dropping down to the knees. From there, leaving the hands where they are, and you're just going to stretch off through those shoulders. Just rest that head on the floor, reaching forward and stretching through. Just relax into that position. Okay, and then just slowly coming up to a kneeling position. Okay, so from there we're going to go into some positions lying on our front or on all fours. So we're going to start on all fours today. So you're going to come up into all fours. So you want to make sure you've got each knee under the hip, hand underneath each shoulder. And we're going to go into something called swimming. So you're going to draw up through the abdominals, draw the shoulder blades down and together, and just keep the head and neck in a nice neutral position. You're going to breathe in, exhale, and you're going to take that opposite leg to arm out, and then inhale to bring it back in. So it's exhale to take the opposite leg to arm out, and inhale to bring it back in. You want to make sure that you keep that lower back nice and level. We don't want to see you dipping down. We want to keep that nice and flat as well. And then inhale and bring it back in. So it's exhale to take the opposite leg to arm out. Inhale to bring it back in. Make sure that when you're putting your knees back down, that you're doing it so that it's hip width apart. Otherwise you'll shift your weight to try and compensate for having a narrow base. Try not to take the leg too high, otherwise you'll end up rotating through that pelvis as well. So really stretching the leg and arm out, keeping that back nice and level. Okay, from there we're going to add an extra component. So you're going to bring the knee across and touch the elbow to knee and then place them back down. So you still take the arm and leg out, but as you bring them back, just going to take them in to meet and then back down. So you will get a little bit of rounding through the back as you bring the knee in, and that's absolutely fine. So bringing that knee in, elbow touch, and then back down. Okay, keep going with that, couple more. Remember to put the hands down underneath the shoulders and knees underneath each hip. Okay, one more. Okay, and relaxing back down. Okay, from there, we're going to go into the preparation for a prone leg lift. So you're going to tuck the toes under. You're going to bring the hands out in front of your shoulders so that you don't face plant. You're going to breathe in, exhale, and you're going to float the knees off the floor. You're going to push forward with the hips into a plank position. Breathe in, exhale, push back with the hips, and then rest the knees back down. So it's exhale to float the knees up, push forward into that plank, having that nice line from the shoulder, hip to knee. Breathe in, exhale, and back down. So it's exhale to float the knees up, push forward, inhale, exhale, push back, and then down. If you want to make it harder, you can hold that plank position for a bit longer, and that'll just test your strength a little bit longer, and then bring it back and then down. So breathe in, exhale, float up, push forward, breathe in, exhale, and push back. And keep going with that. So for this, sometimes people will straighten the legs. So you come up and they straighten the legs, which makes the butt come into the air. What we want to do is we want to push the hips forward to get that straight line. Then push them back and down. So breathe in, exhale, float up, push forward, inhale, exhale, back, and then down. Okay, let's go for 3 more. So exhale to float up, push forward, breathe in, exhale, push back, and then down. So that's 1. Coming up, push forward, breathe in, exhale, push back and down. So 2. 1 more to go. So exhale to push up and float, push forward, inhale, exhale, push back and then down. Okay, from there, again, just stretching off through those shoulders, resting that head on the floor, making sure we're getting that nice gentle stretch. Just let the arms have a bit of time to recover. Okay, from there, you're going to lie on your front. You're going to bring the hands, you're going to rest your forehead on your hands. And we're going to go into some breaststroke. So for this, you want to keep lower body nice and still. You don't really want to be engaging the glutes. This is an upper back exercise. So when I say upper back, I mean this area between the shoulder blades. So you're going to breathe in to prepare, exhale, and you're going to float the elbows and hands and head off the floor. You're going to breathe in, reach forward, and then you're going to exhale when you reach behind, and then inhale to bring those arms back up and rest them back down. Good. Exhale to float the head and hands off the floor. Inhale to reach forward and round. Exhale to reach behind you. And then inhale to bring those arms back up and relax back down. So exhale to float. Inhale to reach forward and round. Exhale to reach behind. And then inhale to bring the arms back up and relax back down. So this is called breaststroke, and it's great to work that upper mobility in the spine. You want to keep your head and neck in a nice neutral position, so keep looking at your mat. You're not extending through that neck. So just float the head and hands off the floor, reaching forward and round. Exhale to reach behind, and then inhale to bring the arms back up and relax back down. Keep going with that. It's a lovely gentle exercise. Really tries to get you to focus. So you want to make sure that the lower back isn't working too hard. It's mainly in the upper. Bring those arms back up and relax back down. So exhale to float the hands and head off the floor. Inhale to reach forward and round. Exhale to reach behind. And then inhale to bring those arms back up and relax back down. So let's do 5 more. So 1, 2, 3, 4, and last one, 5. Okay, so from there we're going to roll onto our side. So we're going to go into some clamps. So you're going to bring that arm up above your head. You're going to rest your head on your arm, and if you need to, you can grab a pillow and place one between your head and your arm. You want about a 45-degree bend at the hip, 90 at the knees, and you want the feet so they're directly in line and below your hips. You then want a nice straight line up, so keeping that head stacked on top of the shoulders. You're going to lengthen through that top hip, so you lift through that waist and you should get this gap between you and your mat. You want to rest the hand on your hip, or if you find your balance a little bit out, have the hand on the floor. But this is the slightly harder position. You're going to float the lower legs off the floor. You're going to breathe in, exhale, float that knee up, and then inhale to bring it back down. So it's exhale to float that knee up, inhale to bring it back down. And the hand on the hip should stay nice and still. So if you find that it's rolling back, that means you're rolling the whole hip back, and we don't want that. We just want the leg to be moving within that hip joint. So just squeezing that knee up, and then inhale to bring it back down. Maintaining that gap between you and the mat, making sure that your ribs are gently tucked in. And just squeeze that thigh up and inhale to bring it back down. Just exhale to bring it up and then inhale to bring it back down. Okay, from there we're going to go into some knee taps. You're going to tap that knee down with the foot coming up and then inhale to bring the feet back together. Just exhale to tap that knee down, inhale to bring it back together. And just keep going with those. You should start to feel it in this sort of area. You might get a little bit of inner thigh as well, especially with this exercise. Keep going. Let's do 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. From there, you're going to straighten that leg, bring it back, bring the feet together and down. So knee up like a clam, straighten the leg, bring it back and down. So just testing you in a slightly different way. Again, keeping that hip nice and still. Keeping that gap between you and the mat. Let's go for 5 more. 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, just relaxing that leg down, drawing that leg up, just giving that thigh a little bit of a rub. Okay, from there we are going to go into a side bend. So, starting off on your elbow, so you want it below your shoulder. Again, you want that slight bend at the hip and the knee. You're going to rest that arm on the side and you're going to breathe in, exhale, and you're going to come up and forward with the hips and reach over. So you want to reach that way rather than down. So you're going to reach that way and then inhale to come back down. So it's exhale to come up and forward with the hips and then inhale to come back down. You want to make sure that you keep the hips facing forwards and you want to make sure you push them forward so you get a nice line through here. So if I just change the angle slightly for you, so from there you're coming up and forward. You see how I push forward with the hips so you get that nice line and then inhale to come back down. So it's exhale to come up and forward and then inhale to come back down. What a lot of people do is they come up and they don't push the hips forward, so you end up twisting or rolling. So keep going from there. So breathe in, exhale, and then coming up, inhale and bring it back down. So it's exhale to come up and over, inhale to come back down. So this works the mobility in your shoulders as well as stretching off through that side. So it's a really, really nice exercise to do that. So just carrying on a couple of more. So just breathing in, exhale, coming back up and then down. And one more. Breathe in, exhale, and then coming up and back down. Okay, from there, we're going to go into a side kick. So you want to lie flat down on your side again. Arm up above your head, so similar position to what we were in for the clam. You're going to bring your feet forward slightly. You're going to pull the toes up, so you should be able to see your feet quite easily. To help with your balance, the further you bring the feet forward, the easier it is on your balance. But if you pull the toes up, that also helps with your balance as well. Again, lengthening through that top hip. You can have the hand to help again with balance on the mat, or you can place it on your hip. You're going to breathe in to prepare, exhale, and you're going to float that leg to hip height. Breathe in, exhale, kick that leg forward with the toes pointed, and then inhale with the toes up as you draw the leg back. So it's exhale to take that leg forward, inhale to bring it back. Just like you're sweeping your leg across the table, trying to knock everything off. It's a nice smooth movement, keeping the same height all the way through. Just making sure that when you come forward, you don't let the shoulder drop back, and when you come back, you don't let the shoulder come forward. So we often try and use the upper body to compensate for increasing our range of movement. Just decrease the range of movement. Even if you can only get to there and then back, that's absolutely fine. And as you get stronger and better, you'll be able to increase that range. Okay, couple more. Okay, from there, just pausing in the center, and you're going to go into some side raises. So it's just straight up and down. And then you're just going to hover at hip height and into some small circles. Okay, reverse the direction. And relaxing that leg back down. Okay, from there you're going to roll onto your back. So from here, just bring those feet together. You're going to take those toes out to make that V shape with your feet, and then bring the heels out so they're directly underneath your hips. Just coming onto the hips, you're just going to gently push the tailbone into the mat, so you arch the lower back, and then you're going to tuck that tailbone in. So you're just rolling that pelvis backwards and forwards. And this just helps loosen up your lower back, but also makes you a little bit more aware of the positioning of your pelvis. From there, you're going to find that nice neutral position that's comfortable for you. You're going to come onto the ribs, so you're going to melt the back of the ribs into the matting. You're going to lengthen through the collarbones by drawing the shoulder blades slightly down and together. Lengthen through the spine as though you've got a piece of rope pulling you to the wall behind. And then just gently tuck the chin in. So from here, we're going to combine a leg twist and a one leg stretch. So you're going to breathe in to prepare, exhale, and you're going to allow that knee to drop out to the side. You're then going to slide that heel down the mat to straighten that leg, and then inhale to bring it back up. So the other side, you're going to take that knee out to the side. You're going to slide that heel down the mat, and then inhale to bring it back up. So it's exhale to allow the knee to drop out. Slide that heel down. Inhale to come back up. So it's exhale to allow the knee to drop out. Inhale, slide it down, and then bringing it back up. So exhale to take the knee out, slide that leg down, inhale to bring it back up. As you do this, you want to make sure that the leg that you're not moving is staying nice and still. So this is a good indication of whether your hips and pelvis are staying nice and level. So you can use your thumbs on your hip bones to help check. So you want to make sure that they stay level, that there's not one popping up as you take that leg out. So it's about controlling that movement out. Try not to let the knee just drop out to the side. Control it. That will control the pelvis. That will work your core muscles as well. Just taking it out. Don't worry about that range of movement so much. Just worry about that control. So from there, just relaxing, making sure we're keeping nice and stable through that lower back, keeping those ribs pinned down to the floor. So you're going to exhale to take that knee out, straighten that leg by sliding the heel down the mat, and then inhale to bring it back up. So it's exhale to take that knee out, slide that heel down, and then inhale to bring it back up. Keep going, couple more. Okay, bringing it back to center. So we're going to take the hip twist a little bit further. So for this one, you're going to breathe in, exhale, float one leg to tabletop. Breathe in, exhale, and float the other leg to tabletop. Making sure we keep 90 degrees at the hip, 90 degrees at the knees as well. Keep those ribs pinned down as this will control through that lower back for you. You're going to breathe in to prepare, exhale, and you're just going to take that knee out to the side while keeping this other one nice and still, and then inhale to bring it back in. So it's exhale to take the other knee out to the side, and then inhale to bring it back in. And just keep going with this, making sure we keep that back nice and controlled so the ribs are pinned down onto the floor, when keeping that pelvis nice and level. and that it's not rolling up or popping up. So this requires quite a lot of more abdominal control because we're in double tabletop. But we're also controlling that rotational force as well as we take that knee out and then bring it back in. Keep going with that. Trying not to dome through your abdominals, so you want to make sure that they're not popping up too much. Really drawing in and up through the transabs and pelvic floor. Okay, one more to each side. Okay, and from there resting one leg down and then the other leg. Okay, next exercise we're going to look at is scissors. So I'll take you through a couple of different levels and then we'll finish on quite a hard level of scissors. So from there, you're going to breathe in to prepare, exhale, and you're going to take one leg to tabletop. Breathe in, exhale, and bring the other leg to tabletop. From here, you're going to breathe in, exhale, you're going to tap that foot down, and then inhale to bring it back up. Exhale to take the other one down, and inhale to bring it back up. If you find that too much, you can bring one up, bring the other one down, take that one down, and then bring them both down. So you're just getting tabletop for a minimal amount of time, but you're still working that double tabletop, but you're still getting it a little bit easier. But if you find this fine, then keep the double tabletop, making sure we pin those ribs down. And just keep going with that movement, nice and controlled. Okay, from there we're going to make it a little bit harder. So you're going to straighten that leg down, hover it above the floor. This really requires a lot of strength in that lower back. Coming up with the head and shoulders, you're going to pulse the legs 3 times and then switch. You want to keep the head and shoulders in the center, so they shouldn't be pulsing, it's just the legs. Keep that going. Two more. Okay, bringing back into tabletop, relaxing one leg down and then the other leg. From there, you're just going to stretch out. So really stretching through those abdominal muscles which you've worked quite hard. Stretching down to the toes. Just leaving the arms up above your head. We're going to go into something called a teaser. So you're going to breathe in to prepare. Exhale, and you're going to float those arms up towards the sky. You're going to reach up and then coming up to a sitting position. And then inhale to roll back down again. So if you're indoors, what you want to do is reach for your ceiling. And then as you get to this point, you should reach for where the ceiling and wall meet, so that's a nice corner. And then inhale and roll back down. So it's exhale to float the arms up, reaching forwards and up, and then inhale to come back down. So it's exhale to come up, reach, and then inhale and rolling back down. Make sure as you do this you don't throw your arms up. So a lot of people will throw the arms up to get that extra momentum to get up. You want to make sure that you keep the legs on the floor. You might find it easier to bend at the knees and then come up to that position and then back down. Otherwise, do it with straight legs, keeping the feet on the floor. If you find that the legs pop up, sometimes just putting something light like a pillow, so some downward pressure on the feet often actually helps. It doesn't have to be a huge amount to actually help. The other thing that you can do is actually have something in your hands. So just pick something up, gives you a little bit of weight, and again, that actually makes it easier. Okay, 2 more. Okay, last one. Okay, and relaxing back down. Okay, from there we're going to go into some shoulder bridges. So bring those feet back up, making sure we've got it hip width apart, so taking the toes out and bringing the heels out. You might want to slide those feet in a little bit closer, especially if you find you get a little bit of hamstring cramping. So from there we'll just start nice and basic. Breathe in, exhale, you're going to tuck the tailbone under. You're going to peel each segment of the back bit by bit off the floor. So you've got a nice straight line from the knee, hip to shoulder. Breathe in at the top, exhale, and then rolling back down. So starting with the top of the back, mid back, lower back, finally bringing that pelvis back into neutral. Breathe in, exhale, and then rolling it back up, peeling each segment off the floor. Inhale, exhale, and then rolling back down again. So it's a lovely exercise just to loosen up through that back, but also to get those glute muscles, those butt muscles engaging. So as you roll that pelvis, tuck it under, you want to engage those glute muscles. So really make sure you're clenching your butt muscles and then peeling each segment of that back off the floor. Make sure you push evenly between both heels, and that will help things come up nice and level through the pelvis. And again with the legs, make sure you're keeping them in line with your hips. So try not to let them fall out or fall in, and then inhale to bring it back down. If you find you're getting not so much control through the legs, like they're falling in or out, you can put a cushion between your thighs, and that just helps stabilize a little bit. Okay, from there, to make it a little bit harder, you're going to take those hands up towards the sky. You're going to breathe in, exhale, and you're going to roll up. It just creates a little bit more instability. Breathe in, exhale, and then rolling back down again. So breathe in, exhale, tuck that pelvis under. Peel each segment of the back off the floor, and then inhale to roll back down. Okay, so we're going to start making this even harder. So if you find the next one too hard, just carry on doing the one we're doing at the moment with the arms up in the air. If you want to try the harder one, you're going to take the arms back down. You're going to bring the leg into tabletop, stretch it out, bring it back to tabletop and down. Then switch sides, so bring the other one up, stretch, back and down. Let's try 5 on each leg, so that'll be 10. So tabletop and stretch. So that's 2, 3, keeping that pelvis nice and level. 4, try not to let it dip and don't let it roll either. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and then coming back down and rolling back down as you did for the bridge earlier. Okay, breathing in, exhale, you're going to go back up, and we're going to do another 10. So again, keeping that pelvis nice and level. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Okay, and rolling back down. Okay, quick breather. We're going to do one more set. So breathing in, exhale, rolling that pelvis up and tucking, peeling each segment of the back off the mat. Breathe in, exhale, bring that in. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. And again, just rolling back down. This time, just bring those legs in towards your chest. just easing off and stretching off through that lower back. Do a gentle roll if you want to. Okay, so from there, roll onto the side we haven't done. So starting off with those clams, you're going to bring that arm up above your head, resting that head on the arm. Again, if you need a pillow between your arm and your head, that's absolutely fine. You want that 45-degree bend on the hips, 90 at the knees. Remember to have feet directly below the hips. You're going to lengthen through that top hip by pushing that top hip down, lifting up through that waist so you get that nice gap. You're going to float the lower legs off the floor. Have the hand either on the hip or on the floor for balance. Breathe in, exhale, float that knee up, and then inhale to bring it back down. So it's exhale to float up, inhale to bring it back down. So you're just gently squeezing that knee up. You don't want to take it too far, you want to keep that hip nice and still, so that hand should stay nice and still there. And this should work through this sort of area, through the glutes. Okay, from there you're going to tap that knee down with the foot coming up and then bring the feet together. So tap it down and then bring the feet together. Okay, keeping that knee up, extend that leg, bring it back and then bring that knee back down. Keep it going. Okay, relaxing the leg back down, just drawing it up, giving it a little bit of a rub. Okay, from there we're going to go into a side bend. So just bringing that elbow underneath your shoulder, keeping that bend at the hip and knee. You're going to have that arm resting on your side. You're going to breathe in, exhale, and you're going to take that arm up, pushing the hips forward and up, and then inhale to bring it back down. So it's exhale to take that arm up and over, and then inhale to bring it back down. So it's exhale to come up, and then inhale to come back down. So just show you again, just to remind you, I just change position. So we want the hip to go forward. So as you bring the arm up, it should push forward so you get that nice line from the hip shoulder down to the knee, and then inhale to come back down. Just exhale to come up and forward, inhale to come back down. Keep going with that. So again, this works through your shoulder mobility a little bit. There is a more advanced one, but we'll introduce that in another video. Maybe I'll do a really advanced class with all the really difficult exercises. But I would only advise doing some of the really harder ones if you have done a lot of Pilates and if you have also attended my classes regularly, so you know what you're doing. Okay, a couple more. Okay, and relaxing back down. From there, just bringing that arm up above the head again, resting that head on that arm. You're going to straighten the legs this time. Draw those feet in front of you. Draw the toes up. You're going to lengthen through that top hip, so you've got that gap between you and the mat. So we're going into that side kick again. So you're going to breathe in, exhale, float that that leg to hip height. You're going to breathe in, exhale, push that leg forward, and then inhale to bring it back. So it's exhale to kick that leg forward, inhale to bring it back. Again, making sure we keep the upper body nice and still. So a lot of people throw the shoulder back as they bring that leg forward and then push it forward when the leg comes back to help balance. We don't want to do this, so keep that range of movement smaller. As you get better, you will be able to get it further. So you're going to point the toes as you come forward, draw the toe back as you pull it back. So keeping it nice and smooth, like you're kicking everything off a table. Keep going. You want to also keep the upper arm that you're lying on nice and relaxed too. Quite a lot of time people will grip with it to try and help stabilize, but we want to keep that upper body nice and relaxed. Okay, from there, just pausing at hip height, and you're going to go into those side raises. Keep it going. Okay, hovering at hip height into some small circles. And reverse the direction. Okay, and relaxing back down, giving that thigh a little bit of rub. Okay, so that's us done for today. I hope you enjoyed that session. Hopefully take you a little bit further through some of the exercises, a little bit harder. Have a gentle stretch off now, just to ease off through the legs and things like that. And I hope you're enjoying lockdown and the weather. And I'll see you soon. Bye.